Breathless. Forbidden, Book 2. Written by Susanna Thompson. Narrated by Lauren Sweet. Chapter 3. It became clear that Cade thought his mere presence would be enough to tempt me into... Well, I wasn't sure what he expected to happen as he continued his vow of silence to me. He sat beside me in every class we shared, but he only spoke to other people. I didn't say a word to him either, so his silence shouldn't have bothered me. Conversely, now that he wasn't doing anything to get my attention, I was more aware of him than ever. It took effort not to look at him, but his gaze was always focused on the professor whenever I surreptitiously glanced at him. After a couple of days, the girl in our microeconomics class questioned him about our situation. "Did you guys break up?" "No," he answered her. "We're not dating," I told her, feeling like I could join the conversation as long as I wasn't speaking directly to Cade. She chose to speak to him rather than to me. "But you said she was your girlfriend." "Yes, I did," he said without elaborating. "But she says she's not," she protested in confusion. "She will be again," he stated. "So she's your ex-girlfriend," she pressed him. "So you're actually single." "I'm waiting for Lexie to give me another chance," he replied. "But what if she doesn't want to?" the girl asked him in frustration. "I don't," I confirmed. "See? She's telling you plain as day. You should forget about everything and have some fun. I'm going to a party tonight. You should come with me." "I'm telling you plain as day that I'm not interested in you," he retorted coldly. "You don't have to be a dick," she snapped back at him angrily. "When you get lonely, you'll find out that you've burned all your bridges." She left to go sit in a seat in another row, and I broke my silence toward Cade. "She's right. You should have been nice about turning her down. Girls aren't going to want to go out with you if word gets around that you're a jerk." He shrugged unconcernedly, and then smiled at me. "I'm going to a party tonight with my roommate," I volunteered for no apparent reason. "She's never gone out without her boyfriend before. She's never had a girls' night out before. Can you believe that?" He tapped his lips with an apologetic expression. I rolled my eyes. "You're allowed to talk to me." He shook his head. The professor began speaking in the next instant, and Cade turned his attention to him for the remainder of class, while I struggled to focus on the lecture. Cade was playing a stupid game, but it bothered me that I had lost by breaking the silence first. I resolved to outdo him by completely ignoring his existence from now on. The girl who approached him at the end of class made that difficult, because she stood in front of me and prevented me from getting out of my seat as she spoke to him. "Hi, Cade. I'm Ashley. Jessica told me that you're currently single, so I just wanted to let you know that I'm interested in you." "As I told Jessica, I'm waiting for Lexie to be my girlfriend." I kept my gaze on the pretty redhead in front of me. Excuse me? I need to get up." She didn't even spare me a glance as she directed a sultry smile at Cade. "If you get tired of waiting, come to me. I won't make you wait," she told him, her meaning very clear. She finally moved out of my way as she strutted past him. I peeked at him to see his reaction to her, but his gaze was on me instead of her ass. I quickly looked away from him and shot out of my seat. Cade followed me, and my awareness of him behind me was so acute that it made all the nerve endings in my back tingle. I had a half hour before my next class, but I walked straight there anyway, just to get rid of Cade. He didn't have that class with me, but he fell into step beside me. "Aren't you going to get coffee?" I snapped. "You're always wanting me to get coffee with you." He didn't answer, of course, and I berated myself for already failing in my resolve to ignore him. I clamped my mouth shut and fixed my gaze straight ahead. The lecture hall was empty when I got there, but Cade sat down right beside me and kept me silent company as I pulled out my Kindle and attempted to read. I saw him checking his watch in my peripheral vision, and I felt his eyes on me as I absorbed only a fraction of what I was reading. I swiped a page every so often so that he wouldn't notice my lack of attention to the screen I was staring at. My breath caught in my throat when he leaned in to whisper in my ear. He took her nipple into his hot mouth and sucked on it, making her moan. Heat spread like wildfire through my body as I imagined Cade doing that to me. His hand found the engorged nub between her legs at the same time, and his thumb rubbed relentlessly at it, eliciting louder and more desperate moans from her. The hot desire I felt turned into humiliation as I realized that he was reading from the romance novel on my Kindle. I shoved him away from me and had to grab my Kindle to keep it from falling off my lap. You don't have to settle for reading about it, Lexie. I'll bring all your fantasies to life. Go, I said through gritted teeth without looking at him. Like green light means go? He inquired. I'd love to, Lexie, but someone could walk in any minute and see us. Or is that one of your fantasies? I turned to look at him with murder in my eyes. Get away from me. He glanced casually at his watch. I hate to leave you with an engorged nub, but I have to get to class. We'll continue this later. I'm looking forward to all those desperate moans. I glared at him until I noticed that his attempt to saunter away wasn't quite working. He was walking a little stiffly. I think you're the one with an engorged nub, I taunted. He halted and turned to direct such a heated look at me that it seemed to burn away the distance between us. Only because I'm thinking about taking yours into my hot mouth and sucking on it. Someone cleared his throat, and I was mortified to see my professor watching us. She's my girlfriend, Cade told him, and hurried from the room. I didn't contradict him and dropped my eyes to the floor with my face burning. Fortunately, another student walked in and spoke to the professor, and more people began to arrive. This was another big class, so I was able to calm down as I became just one in a lecture hall full of students. This professor didn't take attendance, so I doubted he even knew which name to put to my face. He probably had no interest in my personal life anyway. I told myself that I had nothing to be embarrassed about because I hadn't done anything. Cade was the one being an ass, like usual. What was really upsetting me was that I had been so affected by his ridiculous seduction tactics. Even worse was the fact that he had only been mocking me at first when he started reading from my romance novel. The only thing that made it less humiliating was knowing that he had become aroused too. Damn him and his stupid games. Why the hell was I so attracted to him? Maybe I should just sleep with him already and get him out of my system. Instead of immediately dismissing that idea, I considered it more thoroughly. I could continue to fight my very strong attraction to Cade, or I could satisfy it and be done with it. I had never before set out to have sex without having an emotional connection first, but maybe that was why I had gotten my heart broken. This time I would go into it without any illusions, knowing that it was only about sex. The problem of him being my stepbrother still remained, but it helped that we no longer lived together. Since we were adults now, it was nobody's business what we did. Our parents didn't ever need to know about this one-night stand I was planning to have with him. It wasn't like we were going to have an actual romantic relationship that would make things uncomfortable for our parents. Once the sexual tension between Cade and me was gone, there'd be nothing left to create problems. I was able to relax after I made my decision because I felt in control of the situation. Cade wasn't going to take me unaware again with a stunt like he had pulled today. I would be expecting his seduction, because I would initiate it myself. So when I saw him at the party I attended with my roommate that evening, I wasn't annoyed. He watched me from across the room as I urged Katie to let loose and dance with me, and he waited until she went to the bathroom to approach me. "Having fun?" he asked. "Yeah," I replied. "It took her a couple of drinks, but she's finally getting into the party mode." "That's good," he said, before leaning in closer to speak into my ear. "How's your nub?" "Still engorged," I told him. "I'm gonna need you to do something about that." The deer caught in the headlights expression on his face was hilarious. "You're evil," he retorted as I laughed at him. "Payback," I remarked. "Anyway, Katie's staying at her boyfriend's dorm tonight, so come over." "You're evil," he repeated. "But I'm calling your bluff. I'll be knocking on your door," he warned me. I gave him a sultry smile. "I'm counting on it."